Hey everybody, it's Rob. We're back. We're going to do another Proving Grounds practice machine. This time we're doing a machine called RubyDome. It is a Linux box and it is rated as easy, and I didn't think it was too bad. Um, as you can see, I am on Offsec's VPN and I do have RubyDome spun up. And the first thing we did, as we always do, is run an mmap scan. Now there's only a couple of things that pop up. Port 22 for OpenSSH and 3000, which is some kind of website, which is RubyDome HTML to PDF. Not a lot of information other than that. So I said, well, there's not really much choice here. So we went to the website and I, searched. I looked at the page source to see if there was anything in there. There wasn't. So really, I tried to focus on trying to see how I could get this thing to generate some kind of error message. I tried, like a single quote. I tried entering some legitimate URLs. Really, I kind of got lucky when I put in the local host address. When you do that and you click convert to PDF, you get this error. And the most important thing you can figure out here is it looks like this is pdfKit. There's also some more information here that's important. The request path /PDF. And then down at the bottom, you could see it mentions pdfKit again. So the first thing I did was I looked for some pdfKit exploits. I didn't see anything that had a version here, but there's a lot out there, and I found this one in ExploitDB. So what I decided to do was to actually go to this guy's GitHub. And if you see, he's got a bunch of good stuff in here, including requirements.txt. So I thought today what we would do is git clone the library, and that will help us in the long run to get this working, because it does require a Python virtual environment, and we only have to install using the requirements.txt, and all of the dependencies are met. So what we're going to do is you're going to click on code, and then you just click copy for the HTTPS. Then we can open up a terminal, and we just type git clone and paste in the URL. And that will paste in the URL for us. Okay, so now if we do an ls, we can see we now have this exploit folder. So we're going to cd into the exploit folder, and we're going to do an ls. And it looks like everything's there. So for now, we're just going to exit out of here because I want to take a look at the code. So we'll open this folder, and we'll open with mousepad. Now this has a lot of command line options that you got to pay attention to, and that /PDF that I mentioned for the request path is pretty important. There's a couple of things you got to remember. This is running on port 3000. And you're going to need to remember that /PDF, because I had some trouble getting this exploit working until I figured out what I was doing wrong, which was leaving off that request path. So it's a pretty simple piece of code, not much to it, very well written. And as I said, they have some decent help instructions here. So let's get a Python virtual environment installed, and let's get this thing going. So get out of here. We'll open a terminal here, and then we got to create a Python virtual environment. So Python tac-m venv for virtual environment .venv is what we're calling it. And now we need to install the requirements.txt so that we can do that easily by just in our Python virtual environment type in pip install tac-r requirements.txt, and that will install all the requirements for this Python script to be able to run. All right, so we should be good to go. Now, this is the command that you're going to have to type, and I will explain it. Copy, paste clipboard. So basically, we're running this exploit.py in our Python virtual environment. This is my machine's address and the port that I want to listen on, and then this is the HTTP URL that we're attacking. Now, the mistake that I made several times and was getting very frustrated as to why this exploit wasn't working was I left off this PDF. And that error message is what finally gave me the clue after going back and looking at it again, that I needed to include that. And then this parameter is we're feeding a URL, right? So what we need to do is start a listener. So we'll do ncat netcat on all fours, and we'll come back to our exploit, and we'll hit enter, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so according to this, the exploit said it ran. So let's see if we have a shell. And we do. So first thing we need to do is get ourselves a better shell. So we're going to use our handy dandy Python. And now we see we're Andrew at RubyDome. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go home, and we'll do an ls, and we'll cd into Andrew, do an ls, and we can see we have the local.txt, so we'll cat local.txt, and there's the user flag. So we do our normal enumeration. Step 1 is history, just my history. Step 2 is sudo tacl, and we've already hit pay dirt. So as you can see, Andrew can run a very specific command with sudo no password, and that is Ruby, and you have to use the full path. And then there's apparently an app, a Ruby app, in Andrew's home directory that he can run. So let's cd into app, do an ls, and then we'll cat this app.rb. All right, I'm not a Ruby person, so I don't know what this looks like. It looks like it's just doing a web page, to be honest. It looks more HTML than Ruby. So what I did was I was thinking about how I could take advantage of this. So I just searched for a Ruby reverse shell, and I found this very simple code here that I thought was simple but effective. And I'm not saying you have to do it this way. You could probably just figure out a way to take advantage of this and use netcat or something like that. But what I decided to do was to copy that, paste it in here, and then of course we need to edit some stuff here. We have to change the port. So we'll put this on all 6s, and then I got to put my IP address in here. So that's 192.168.45.214, and then we can click save, and we'll save this as app.ruby, and we'll click save. We can get out of here. We can go to our home directory, and we have this app.ruby. So let's open a terminal here real quick. We'll do Python HTTP on 80. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll go back to the machine, and we'll do a wget. Well, first, before we do that, let's do an ls again. I'm going to basically move app.rb to app.old, and then we're going to do a wget http our IP address, and we want app.rb. So we downloaded that. So now we do an ls, and there's app.rb. So now what we got to do is we got to start another listener. This time we're going to do netcat on all 6s. If you remember, I changed the script to all 6s. And we're going to go back. We can kill this. And what we'll do is we'll do sudo tacl again. And what we'll do is we'll copy this sudo path right here, just like this. And then we'll type sudo, paste clipboard, and we'll cross our fingers and see what happens. Okay, it looks like it hung a little bit, so that's a good sign. and we have a root shell. So now we can do cd root ls cat proof.txt. I will blur this. And that's that. So this machine was pretty easy. I did have to guess a little bit at the version of pdfKit that was running. And I did struggle at first to get the pdfKit to give up an error. I tried all kinds of, command injection and all of that, but it was strictly looking for a URL, and it was only when I did localhost that it gave up the fact that it was pdfKit, and I found that request path, which is very, very important. Otherwise, this exploit will not work. If you leave that /PDF off the URL, the exploit will not work. So all we did was we ran an mmap scan. We saw that there was a HTML to PDF converter running on port 3000. We went there. We did some enumeration. We figured out it was pdfMake or pdfKit, and found an exploit out there for it. Git cloned the library, ran the exploit, got a shell. In step 2 of our typical Linux enumeration, we found out that Andrew could run a very specific Ruby script or program using sudo with no password. So we basically renamed the old one, found a Ruby reverse shell on the interwebs, got it to the machine using wget, ran it, got a root shell. So easy peasy. Not too bad. I'm on a good streak. I've been knocking a few these machines out in pretty good time, so I'm very happy about that. So all the links will be in the description below. If you have any questions, comments, criticisms, whatever, drop them below. I'll be happy to have a chat. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.